But I thought this was interesting. The first thing is in the next 12 months, 2/3 of CX interactions will still require some form of human support.
Once again, the death of the contact center is overrated. All right, so our friends at NTT just published a 2023 Global Customer Experience Report. And their biggest finding, which we love, is how the employee experience is really the key in driving the customer experience. So, Ted, what did they say?
I agree, first of all, with you that this is actually a very exciting report. And so let me bring it up so folks can see here. It's not only about employee experience, but they talk about the rise of AI and a little bit of how AI is impacting EX. But we're not going to spend as much time on that today. I think we'll do that in the future. But I think it is important to understand that this is a contact center focused report. So for those of you in the contact center, this one's dead on to your business.
Yeah, not everything we cover is specifically contact center, but this one is.
This one is. So this was done through 1,400 plus interviews with key stakeholders throughout all these companies, representing, as you can see, 25 countries, 5 regions, but also thousands and thousands of employees. So let's see what they had to say. One of the first things I thought that was interesting, and let me just zoom in a little bit here. So the first thing is 43% of employees who interact with customers directly are currently based in the office full time.
Wow. Okay.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I mean, the pandemic, it was, overwhelming majority weren't. And that, hey, in 2023, now the shift is a lot more people are back in the center.
Yeah. And by the way, a lot of them do, of course, participate in the hybrid work environment, which we'll talk a little bit more about here in a minute. But I thought this was interesting. The first thing is in the next 12 months, 2/3 of CX interactions will still require some form of human support.
Once again, the death of the contact center is overrated.
Right.
And it's been that fruit through history of, oh my gosh, we got email now. That's going to, no more voice. And, oh, we got the IVR. That's going to take care of everything now. And, gosh, all these different things throughout history. The websites. Hey, websites, that's going to stop it all.
That's
so
right.
It just goes to show the importance of humans interacting with humans.
And I'll tell you, I like what they put in this report. And for those of you, by the way, that want to view this directly, we have the link located in our description because I thought at least the folks watching might want to go pull this for themselves because there's a lot more data here.
Yeah.
NTT has been doing this report for a long time. It's a great study, very accurate, I found in many of their approaches. And one of the things that interests me is this statement. A staggering 91% of organizations surveyed for this report agree that improving their EX will directly affect their bottom line. And I'll tell you what's interesting to me is they use the word a staggering 91%.
Yes.
Meaning it was unexpected.
Yeah.
So
what's unexpected to me is that they now realize it. I'm glad that they do. Right. We know that it is, hugely linked, but it's great to see that, this is what leadership is looking at. They see the connection.
They also have here on this slide entitled Learning from Top Performers, some interesting stats. But again, for us, in the sake of time here, we want to point out one, which is over here. Top performers are 91% more likely to have significantly increased their employee sat. Over the recent period.
So, wow, that's, once again, doesn't leave a whole lot of doubt with 91%.
Yeah, it's very interesting, I thought. So we certainly can come back to that, but let's talk about this. The rising importance of EX. 94% of CEOs agree that making EX improvements will improve and directly affect their net profit. So we talked about that earlier, but this is out of, we're talking about roughly 1,500 C-level individuals believe
Yeah.
this to be the case. This is
Well,
interesting.
that's the we talk about, the win-win-win. So, when employees find their work meaningful, that's great because then they do a better job and they get their meaning from working with customers. So they have a better experience for the customer. The customer loves it. And then the company loves it because they have loyal customers and loyal employees. And they don't have a turnover problem and other costs. So it's like better margins, better revenue, all of that. It's the win-win-win. So great to see this out there once again from a different source and with data like this.
Here we have a quote from Marilyn Chaplin, who's the Chief Human Resources Officer at NTT. I thought was interestingly stated: seismic global changes like COVID, so not just COVID, but seismic global changes, have upset the employer-employee balance.
Yeah, what do you think that means, Ted?
Yeah. And I think what I thought was interesting, and I'll put the emphasis on, is has upset the employer. And I know she didn't mean this. I'm going to take her out of context here. I stop there with the highlighting because it's really upset the employer more than the employee. The employee is kind of liking the balance. I can find jobs easier and those types of things. But it's really upset the relationship between also the employer and the employee. And I think that is an employer thing.
That's correct. And what we say, the biggest way, the biggest delta in the employee experience is the employer.
Here's the other one. I forgot to move over here. How has EX been redefined? Now, I would probably take a little bit of issue with some of these things, not too much, but it says EX now refers both to interactions that employees have with their employer and to the evolving and increasingly cloud-based technology they need to do their jobs. It focuses on creating an engaging, enabled work environment because happy employees are more likely to be productive. Well, unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case. Happy employees do not correlate to productive and to committed employees. I would agree that there is also a lot of work to be done around equipping people to really work at home. We talked about this, I think, in our onboarding even podcast previously, where we talk about how people need to be able to actually get their job done and to do things in the beginning. So there is something to that. But
well, and I just wanted to you mentioned the happy, and just to explain that more is there's a lot of happiness movements and hey, we want to have fun, we want to be happy, we want low effort. And our research and the whole body of research for well over 100 years in meaningful work says that's not the case. And they saw the highest, I think we mentioned previously, like ICU nurses was one of the highest in meaningfulness. And it's like, that's not exactly always happy and or low in effort and all of that. And it's actually, they correlated, I'll give more effort and it correlates with more meaning if I can really make that difference. So focusing on happiness, it might be an outcome of that thing. They may, at the end of the day, these nurses and, call center agents might be happy in the sense of, I found it rewarding, but fun and happy can be actually a distraction and not really correlate to performance or, some other major metrics.
Yeah. Setting your goal for making everybody happy is probably not going to end well. I know I was told at a very young age by my mom that you can't make everybody happy with what you do. Just do the right thing. Right?
It's still the case.
Yeah, probably still the case. So, I thought you'd enjoy seeing some of that data that just came out.
Good.
And hopefully folks will take a look at that, go to the link and subscribe also to us as we continue to bring more of this data to you. Give us a thumbs up, and certainly pass us along to others because they might benefit from this data and looking at these reports as well.
Yeah. So thanks for taking us through that, Ted. And until next time, everybody, see you later.
Take care.